Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makaha Kodash, that one unto the apostles and elders, agreements to do well. Peace and blessing to Yashar Allah, to the Shabbatium, which means to the 12 tribes of Israel, to the Bakarium, the Dawara, the elect, and the beloved of the Musa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. And this lesson, is just going into, the fight in this flesh, so that we could obtain the crown, Lord willing, ways of the Lord's elect. When Yahushua was Solomon, he searched out all things. He searched out all things under the heaven according to this flesh, and there's reason why he leave this as a learning process for us. Because the Apostle Paul says in Romans 15 verse 4, whatsoever thing are written aforetime were written for our learning, alright, that we through patience might have hope. And we know this body is a body that subjected death, because sin lies at the door, alright. So let's going straight into it. This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 3 says, this is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live, and after that they go to the death. So you are seeing that it's craziness and madness just set in our hearts, but by the Lord's Spirit, alright, which the Lord showed us mercy every day, is the reason why we fighting and striving for righteousness, knowing that who we are as His people and He is our God, is the reason why we crying unto Him, that we could be delivered out of this hellhole, which is these dead bodies. As the scripture say in 1 Peter the 4th chapter, alright, we talk about the angels was cast down, you understand, which left their first estate, which was us. We left our first estate. Our first estate was serving the Lord in truth and in spirit and all righteousness. Nephilim, the sons of God. Alright? The sons of God. This is the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 1. It says, man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble. Why are we full of trouble? Because we're not in righteousness, in all righteousness, which we're looking forward to, that the Lord come one day and deliver us, redeem us from this captivity, redeem us from these bodies, and understand that we'll be able to enjoy the things that we have created. Lord willing, ways of the Lord's elect, get to enjoy the things that the Lord has set for the nation of Israel, the elect, alright, the first fruits, and the others will follow. We want to enjoy these things, because on this side is not living, is only hell and tribulation and trouble. Thorns in the flesh, bills upon bills, persecution. But all this is part of playing out the prophecies of the Lord and playing out this movie. Alright, until the time the angel come and sung that last trumpet, and we out of here, Lord willing. What is our fight that we in right now? It's an uphill fight. It's not an easy one. And as we're going down into these times, it ain't gonna be easier. And hence the reason why, we need to strengthen one another as much as we could. To keep one another on track in these times. And the elect we speak to. This is the book of 1 Corinthians. Get a precept real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. And the last verse. I'll just read from verse 24. It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. In this flesh, you will fall. Obstacles will come. But hey, we had to strive. We had to strive. And that way the Apostle Paul, make mention of in the book of First Timothy, the 6th chapter, and I think it's the 12th verse around there, if I'm not mistaken. He say what? Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight, because the key thing, into making it into the kingdom, Lord willing, is to keep the faith. Keep the faith unto the end. That is what's going to get us there. So this race that we have set before us, there are going to be obstacles. There are going to be times we fall, but we had to keep the faith and keep pushing until that day, Lord willing, raise up the Lord's elect. So much spirits might come in your mind and try to antagonize you, but guess what? These spirits will try to bring precepts, and we had to keep our integrity as the prophet Job. Job kept his integrity when he was plagued by those demons that the Lord allowed him to be touched by. But he kept his integrity. And this reason was set before us, as the scripture said, the book of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, make mention, a city set on a hill. And it also make mention the narrow passage, how you had to go through the narrow before you enter into the broad. He said there only be one man can pass you at a time. So it's trials that each and every one of us gonna have to go through, and defend it to the best of our ability. Defend the gospel to the best of our ability and overcome these demons. You understand? And hey, that great fight ultimately coming where, some of us going to be martyred, some of us going to be put into concentration camps. These are times that we're pushing forward to. And that is why, in the book of 2nd Ezra 14, it says, put away from the mortal thoughts. These mortal thoughts and what this body going to perish and feel. Because the Lord never gave us more than we can bear. It goes on to say, it says, verse 25, it says, and every man that strive for the mastery is temperate in all things. No, they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we are incorruptible. So this race that we running, we ain't doing this for self-praise and men on this side, but we doing it that Lord willing that we could increase and receive that incorruptible crown. We ain't gonna have no more corruption, so we ain't gonna see no more troubles on that side. It's only going to be peace. We gonna be greeting one another. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Shalom means peace and prosperity. And right now we don't have peace on this side. We don't even have peace in our members right now. Because it's a war every day. It's a war in our minds every day. And that what the scripture say in Ephesians, the 6th chapter and the 12th verse. Alright, around that area, see, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirituality in high places. Alright, it says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So we have to be certain about how we approaching it and what we're doing, because this is the only thing that we have, and the only thing to overcome these things is by keeping the faith unto the end. That is the only how we're going to be certain, doing exactly that have been laid down for us to follow. Keep on the path, no matter how much time you fall, because the scripture say a righteous man falleth 7 times. But hey, to reach 7, you had to gear up on the first. You had to gear up on the second, and so forth. So it's all about going through the trials and keeping the faith. The faith is the key thing to enter us into the kingdom. Lord willing, raise up the Lord's elect that come like the golden ticket from Willy Wonka. We're gonna receive it, Lord willing. And that is why we're doing it, not for corruptible crown, but incorruptible. We're gonna be immortal, Lord willing, one day. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection. Right? Hey, this thing had to be under me. This can't be over my spirit. Hey, go down there. Go down. Let me just touch on the word subjection. Select internet. Select here. Right? It says, lest that by any means, well, I know sub means to be under, right? Sub means to be under, and I think jection means to rule. Under rule, if I'm not mistaken, Salakia, right? But it says, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So Paul himself was also doing a self-examination, you know, on himself, you know, and that is something that we had to do on a daily basis. Check yourself, talk to yourself. You know, some people out in this world say like, you talking to yourself, you're a madman, but no, really and truly, they mad. Because you're supposed to talk to yourself, you're supposed to check yourself. It is written. It's written. These is things that we ought to do. You know? This is the book of Romans chapter 8. Okay, because this is our test. This is our test. This is our test. This is our test that the Lord has set for us. A test for the elect to pass, and you know, He gave us the answers which is in the scriptures. You know how to deal with mortifying the flesh. You know how to put his flesh under subjection by calling upon him. You understand? Fasting, praying, you know, doing the Lord work, doing the videos, charity, you know, being a brother to the best of your ability, you know, even if you have faith as of a grain of a mustard seed. You know, this is on Romans chapter 8 and verse 20. It says, for the creature, right, was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by the reasons of him who has subject the same in hope. And now the Apostle Paul said, we are prisoners of hope. So, you know, the flesh just want to go after these things because Solomon, you know, he said all is vanity and vexation of spirit, because everything on this side is going to perish. You know, the scripture talk about the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Everything on this side going to perish. All the glitz and the glamour on this side going to perish. But hey, store up your treasures where moth and rot do not corrupt. You understand? It goes on to say, it says, verse 21, it says, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption. And that what we was not reading earlier on. In 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, we say, well, we ain't doing it for a corruptible crown, but we doing it for incorruptible. Corruption means to see death. Your flesh going to rot. You know, we don't want to see corruption. We want to be immortal. Even if we die, we're going to be resurrected according to the scriptures. You understand? Those that die in Hamashiach shall rise first. The dead shall rise first. And this is what we're looking forward to. So, you know, this fight that we're in is a fight, Lord willing, is a win-win fight. You know? But it's just a time we had to serve this sentence on this side. You know? It says, I'm reading on, it says, from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It says, for we know that the whole creation groaneth. You know, we can see that the groaning, all of us, the elect understand, but two-thirds of Israel don't understand why they're going through what they're going through. The pain that they feel, and them don't understand what we do. We understand that we have sinned and fall short of the glory of the Heavenly Father. And now we were put here to face our sentence, to do our time until the time that the Redeemer come, which is Yahushua. And that is what we're looking forward to, because we want to be righteous. We want to do righteous things. You know, we fed up at the abominable talks of two-thirds and these heathens on this place. And that what the scripture talk about in 1 Peter, right? I think it's chapter 3. It say, but deliver just Lot with the filthy conversations of the wicked. You know, he was mad about that. That was a representation of the elect. You know, we are amongst this and hearing this every day, you know. And that why the psalmist in Psalms 119 and 125, he plead to the Lord. He say, arise, O Lord. It's time for thee to work. It's time to bring forth judgment upon this place and deliver the elect out of this wicked system, this wicked captivity. You know, these wicked bodies. You know, he says, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit. You know, the ones that are able to unlock these things. Alright? these beautiful precepts and break them down properly, starting from our apostles to the least brethren in this truth. Lord willing, we will be at the first fruits. And when you go into that word first fruits, it means the best of its kind. The best of its kind. So we're going to be the top ranking. And then in the sequence come down. Everything is done in decency and in order with the Lord. Alright. It says the first fruits of the Spirit, even we also groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption. At times you'll be like, wait, back out, wait, Lord willing, read up that number, boy. Sometimes at times it just come to you, hey, I can't wait for the Lord to destroy this place, boy. Within yourself, sometimes you're lying on your bed and you're communing in your mind, and these is the thoughts that be running through your mind, like, hey, Father, let's destroy this place, destroy this body, that we could be able to serve you in righteousness, that we're going to be able to be at peace. Our minds ain't going to have no voices passing through and no temptation. All that going to done away with. So also the elect, Lord willing, also groaning right now. It says, waiting for the adoptions, to wit the redemption of our body. You understand? We're waiting for Yahweh to come and cash in. So the redemption of our body, we first estate that we left, we're going to go back to that. Incorruptible immortality. And that we scripture say Wisdom of Solomon, the first chapter. It said that what the Most High have not pleasure in destroying the living, but He created them to be what? Immortal. He created us to be immortal. This is the book of Romans 7 and verse 14. And they will be fighting for. We're fighting to come out of this body. Lord willing. And they were the Apostle Paul was saying, Romans chapter 7 and verse 14, it says, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal. Why are you carnal? Because we're in this flesh. This flesh is dead. This flesh is carnality. And that was start of the lesson through the Spirit in Ecclesiastes 9 and 3. It's evil and madness. Evil and madness. Because the things we ought to do, but the man who sabotage it. I read it. It says, 1 Corinthians, Romans chapter 7 verse 14, it says, I am carnal, sold under sin. The creature was made subject unto vanity. It says, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. And that is the flesh. The things that you hate, which is wickedness, that is the things the flesh just gravitate to. Alright? That is the things the flesh just gravitate to. That is the reason why the scripture says this in Galatians chapter 5 and verse 17. It says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary. The not in agreement, the against one another. Contrary the one to another, so that you cannot do the things that you would. Certain marks is want to reach, but the flesh. And that is the reason why we pleading. We asking, we crying, we begging. Father, how long, How long? Come on, destroy these bodies, destroy these heathens, destroy Esau. Lord willing. And hey, I just hope this lesson was edifying unto the elect, the nation of Israel. I just want to say all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kodash. That was unto the apostles and elders, a great millstone who do well. Peace and blessing to the saints, Akim, and the elect. What Lababal, Abad Babal, death to DTA. Shalom.